Hello everyone, Chuckles here. Day 6 of the American film market. Today was a lot less jam-packed schedule-wise, but a lot more draining. Why? Because although I was meeting fewer people this time and having fewer meetings just on my official schedule, that meant that I was hoofing it all day, tagging all of the companies. Well, I haven't even gotten to all of them yet. That's all the companies that I researched. So I was just walking around through all the 8 floors of the Lowe's, popping in and seeing if anyone would see me, which most of them did actually. I was surprised. They were very nice. Oh, and I found out what this is all about. This is a market similar to AFM, but specifically for Asian companies and Asian cinema, which is awesome. And apparently, I happened to be at the right place at the right time and got in on a promotion whereby I gain free admission to this thing. It's in March of 2016. They're going to email me and tell me all about what's going on after when the date gets closer. But that's really cool. And speaking of Asian cinema, that is mainly what today was about. All the Asian companies that I could possibly find. First, of course, I went to JETRO, the Japan External Trade Organization. This is where I found, well, so all of these companies right here were all at this one room. They were all lined up in booths and just accepting all takers. I had spoken to some of the bigger Japanese companies that were located elsewhere, and they told me that they were not acquiring, they were selling, which this is something that I discovered. The last 3 days of the conference, which is what I'm coming to, there's a lot less acquisition going on. There's a lot less like, oh, give me your film and I will distribute it. There's a lot more, hey, come here, buy this film from us. So I was meeting a lot of companies that I would say, hey, acquisition, sales. And in fact, some of the companies, roughly half of the companies in the JETRO room, were gone. They were just that they're done with the market. Fortunately, there was one company that I had talked to. I met some other people. I met some very cool people who ran some of the other companies, and even though they were not acquiring films, they still were very friendly and wanted to talk to me about projects that they had going, talk to me about my project, even though they couldn't necessarily do anything for me. They were like asking about it, asking about my interest in J-horror and folklore. Very impressed with how I knew about what yokai were and about places in Japan that I had just been to in October. What? Yokohama? I've never heard Yokohama come out of someone's mouth who looks like you. Well, I was there. And they gave me some advice on shooting in Japan and working with the film industry, which is good for a project that I have planned in the future. More on that in a moment. One of the companies, which just so happened to be one of the companies that I called in Japan while I was there, was at JETRO, in the JETRO room. So I had called this company while I was in Yokohama, and then I sent an email as a follow-up, and now I talked to them in person. And they told me to send them a screener online of A-Horror the Student film for consideration of distribution. Whew! Well, that came full circle. So the bad news is that a lot of companies were no longer there, and those who were no longer acquiring, but the good news is that some were. And I have now sent out, and am continuing to send out later tonight, screeners, digital screeners, to all of these companies for consideration of distribution in Japan and the US. These helped tremendously. I honestly thought I was just being like, oh, I hope this looks good. I'm just kind of throwing it together. Oh boy. I'll just have something that I can show them that'll tell them a little bit about the film and about kind of a little about the style, and oh, it's not so great. No, everyone loves it. There was even one guy, a British fellow, I showed him this and he was like, yes, finally someone with good art. Hooray for design skills that I don't really consider myself to have. At least it's not part of my career, but hey, there you go. I also, quite spontaneously, met a fellow SDA filmmaker. She's from India. We're gonna work on stuff together, probably. And speaking of working together, Basil Hoffman is now connected to a script that I'm writing. If you don't know who Basil Hoffman is, look him up on IMDb. You'll see a list that you need to scroll down. He's been in MASH, he's been in West Wing, he's been in Matlock, LA Law, Dynasty, Night Court, Twilight Zone, Seinfeld, Sanford and Son, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, The Artist. The list goes on, including several projects which are in various stages of production or not production, which now includes mine. Now that I have an actor attached, I suppose I should tell you all something about this new project of mine, which I will later. For now, I shall say that this day was a lot more difficult, but potentially a lot more fulfilling. There were fewer fun meetings with people and getting to know people and being like, oh, this is so cool, and more of just walking. Hard sell, fail, hard sell, fail, hard sell, fail. But like I said, I got some interest, I got an actor attached to a script, I met some more awesome filmmakers, and some Japanese people are actually watching a horror. So, overall, quite a success, even though it drained me severely. Oh, and again, business cards! So, once again, I'm going to do a bunch more follow-up emails. I'm going to email a screener to a few more companies, set up a couple more meetings, and prepare for tomorrow, which, from what everyone has been telling me, is going to be dead. Just everyone is gone. Like, there's nothing. Which is ironic since it's a very heavy day for me, schedule-wise, because I've been able to wrangle a whole bunch of meetings on that day. I'm very excited for these last few meetings that I'm going to have with some potential crew members and colleagues. So, look forward to the update from that final day. Good night. Or good morning, most likely.